we are live. I'd like to welcome you to CRT Gaming Podcast, episode number 12, The Revenge of Shinobi. My name is Jones, and with me every week are my good friends, Gohan and Dazpick. How are you doing this evening, Dazpick?
Doing fantastic, buddy. Ready to talk about some ninja shit.
Excellent. Were you able to reduce Neo Zeed to rubble by the power of stealth?
No, I was not. But okay. I think I did enough damage.
Awesome. And Gohan is here in the house with us tonight as well. How about you, Mr. Gohan? How are you doing, Ninja?
I mean, just like Daz, my master has been slain. My beloved Naoko has been kidnapped. And the CRT gaming crew has no choice but to regulate on Neo Zeed.
That's what happens when they take your girl.
I mean, it was a bridge too far.
Okay, so you probably have chosen one of the hardest games I've played in quite a while, in all honesty. So would you like to take a second to explain yourself for why you did this to us?
The original Shinobi was awesome. It was one of Sega's Sega 16 arcade boards, and like everything that Sega was doing at the time, it was just an instant hit, and to me, along with Streets of Rage 2 and Street Fighter 2, I think Revenge of Shinobi might be one of the greatest video game sequels of all time. Easily retro sequel of all time.
That's a bold statement.
Wow. Solid.
So bold. So what about this game like screams that to you? Where I don't know, like if you had to encompass it and what were your favorite aspects of this game? What draws you to it?
Well, the Revenge of Shinobi design took what was in the arcade and really evolved it. Shinobi, the first one, kind of like Golden Axe, man, when you saw the graphics, when you saw the bonus stage with the ninjas kind of, flying at the camera, with you hucking shuriken at them, it just completely left a huge memory. But the game itself, the mechanics, in my opinion, are way better suited for home console gameplay than the arcade. And really, when they made this, it needed to be different from the original. This was kind of Sega's first title, one of the first titles that they themselves developed for the Genesis, so it had to be good. And I feel like they completed their mission.
I mean, I have to agree on a lot of them, because the original Shinobi, I mean, it was definitely, as an arcade game, it was designed to take your quarters. And all of them. One-hit kills. You got tapped, you were dead. And, I remember the first boss fight, you had to drill that star directly into his head. Every frickin' time. And, yeah, I mean, you had to have really precise aim. The mechanics, again, one-hit kill in arcade games was pretty standard back then. Rolling Thunder, hell, even the sequel Shadow Dancer. One-hit kill. But that was one of the things I really enjoyed about Revenge, was that they took that aspect out, but it was still pretty unforgiving in a lot of other aspects. For instance, the double jump, the somersault, holy shit. You had to really get into the zone of the perfect timing, because there was a millisecond that you had
Yeah.
to hit
There's
that button
like
again.
a 2-frame window where like
Yeah.
you can do the double jump.
And if you miss it, you're because so many of the jumps in that game are so freaking precise. So many of them. And you know, and yes, I've only ever played that game with infinite throwing stars because holy shit, the game is freaking hard. And then once you actually do get into a zone of hitting that somersault, except for the levels where you're ceiling capped and you can't go higher, so
Yeah, they prevent you from doing it.
Yeah, so it makes it really hard to actually time it and all that. But yeah, because you can just spray the whole area with the throwing stars, and you know that makes it somewhat easier. But I will say, man, even that first night that I played it when you were watching me, it really started. The muscle memory for that game was really coming back fast, and I played it again last night, and I just was blasting right through it. I got up to level 5, and I only stopped because it was late, and I didn't get a chance to play more of it today, unfortunately. But yeah, I liked it before. I still like it. I just didn't remember how unforgiving that somersault was. And
Oh yeah, it
man,
is. You
punishing.
truly must be the ninja master to do that. You know, just the add to what you were saying, Daz. Like, you know, with Revenge, a lot of the cheap hits and randomness that were present in the arcade. You know, it always felt like they're punishing the player versus challenging them in the first game.
Hell yes.
And in Revenge, you know, to answer Jones's question, I think a big part of what made this such a huge improvement in the sequel was it more emphasized kind of twitch reflexes, and it added this layer where there was almost a shooter style kind of pattern recognition that you needed to kind of commit to memory. You know, it did feel like something that they were kind of training you through, and that just really wasn't a part of the arcade experience. You know, and plus like the things that Daz was saying, you know, the double jump and the death blossom, but even little simple additions like the super power up that you get, you know, that buffs your sword and buffs your shuriken. I mean, what was awesome is like it rewarded flawless playthroughs.
Yes.
You know, so if you're playing well, it actually made it an easier difficulty if you could keep the POW. And the damage that you can do with the shuriken and the sword is just devastating when you're buffed in the game. Plus, another cool benefit of the super POW was it gave you the ability to block some of the incoming projectiles.
Yes.
And your sword came out a hell of a lot more, which was nice. Yeah, well, another thing, like when I played through the first time and I got to the Terminator boss, and you know, I was trying to do, you know, hit him from a distance and throw stars at him, and then I remembered how to actually freaking do it, which was you just go up to him and just stab the shit out of him. And I got back when I played last night, I got back to him and I had my POW and I just rolled up on him with the swords and, you know, used my ninja magic so that I could take a few free hits before he actually did any damage to me. And man, I had him dead like in half a second. It was awesome.
All right. Well, let me slow you down here. Like my whole note sheet's been destroyed by like 3 paragraphs by Dazpick. Because he just jumps around so fast. So you got
Wily.
ninja magic in the game, right? So like you have.
He's employing a form of
surprise.
ninjutsu on your program notes right now, Jones.
Yeah, it's just like it just got wrecked. Like
Technique of confusion.
I'm done.
Drop the smoke bomb, son.
Yeah, but like the ninja magic was pretty cool. Like I did, like you could use it, or you actually had to learn like where and when to use it for a lot of stuff. Like you could use the like the lightning shield, which is like my favorite one.
Oh god, yeah.
And there's like a fire pillar type storm one that he could do. And I believe then there's the super jump. could like explode. But what was cool when you get exploded is you got it, it costed you a life, but you regained all your health, basically, by having a new life, which really saves your ass from time to time. And
Oh yeah, I mean, kind of alongside Ninja Gaiden, Revenge of Shinobi, at least to me, coined the term ninja magic. Like, it was those two games that kind of brought that element to any kind of ninja shinobi game. Was this kind of supernatural, element stuff that powered up or rained hell down on the bosses and the regular bad guys.
yeah, it did. I did feel like there's I look at this game differently now than I did when I was growing up and I played this. I have fond memories of it, but upon playing it again, I do think it's a good game. It's not as good of a game as I remembered. I feel like a lot of it is, I don't know, it's got a lot more cheap hits in it than I remembered. Like you would get like for example, there's one level where you're like in the world's biggest airplane that has just
Oh my god.
doors in the side of the hull everywhere for some reason. And
There's a lot of cheap hits in that one because you can't see where the guys are laying down shooting, and then you drop
No,
down.
like, seriously, this is the grenadiers in this game.
Oh my god.
My god, those sons of bitches.
They're accurate,
and
son.
And the skeletons from Golden Axe need to hang out because
Yeah.
they may not know each other, but they have
But
a
they
lot
know
in
each
common.
other.
But I think they would be fast friends, and I don't know what they would do. They'd get beer on the weekend and talk about crushing the dreams of the hopeful or something. But they are just brutal in the airplane level.
Yeah. There's the real sons of bitches.
Yeah, the airplane, I literally shut it off and walked away for half an hour and told the game to burn in hell for a minute.
Man, I ripped through that like in 5 minutes last night.
There's this one jump, like, and what's kind of cool, what's cool about the game is it does two things that are cool and kind of suck at the same time. Is the enemies shoot at you off screen.
Yes.
But you can hit the enemies off screen, so that's cool.
Yes.
But the fact that they shoot at you off screen kind of sucks.
It does.
And
Eat a dick.
the other thing that sucked was if you hit an enemy, like, you didn't take any damage, which was cool. But then it gave you like a damage bump where it hops your character to the side, and a lot of times that'll just shoot you right off a cliff or
Or out the door.
It's the Castlevania.
And that's what was
knockback.
happening to me in the plane.
It's the Castlevania knockback.
It
would-
totally is.
Yeah, I'd get comboed. I'd like bounce off a guy, then bounce onto his bullet, and then bounce right out the door. Just
And
like
they
a
get hit in the
movie.
face with a grenade.
I hope you packed a parachute, Joe Musashi.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, when I played last night, I was totally in the zone, and I literally walked on that level and I was like, oh Christ, I hate this level, and I was in and out of there in no time. I got the extra ninja magic on my way out, and I peaced out, and I was like, oh sweet, I'm done with this. Awesome. Next.
Yeah, there's definitely times when you could use the ninja magic to short circuit some of the levels, like especially the vertical climb levels, like the kind of the Nakatomi Plaza looking level, and the one where it's kind of like the assembly line level. You could absolutely use the jump to just blow through that in really a matter of seconds.
I think the level that I recall, and again, I didn't get to it this time, but I mean, it left an impression on me when I played it back when I first got the game, was near the end. I believe you're at like a dock, and there's lots of really, really pixel perfect jumps that you got to make.
Yep.
And man, I remember my buddy Brian and I playing that, and I was just constantly giving the game the finger. I was like, okay, screw this shit. This is insane. And I'm like, how am I missing this jump? I can't walk anymore off this damn platform. I cannot be any more off. And yeah, and then just like one pixel more, and it's perfect. You're good. Yeah, go on. Have a nice day.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I struggled Well, let's talk about the levels for a minute. Like the first level, game starts off. I absolutely love the music on the first level, along with the look and the aesthetic. I like it. I'm a ninja. I'm in Japan. I got ninjas. This looks awesome. And then the one thing about the game itself is the locations just continually vary from there. So like the one aesthetic where like my mind goes when I want to play ninja, it kind of leaves for the rest of the game pretty much after that point. Like just like in the variations of places that you are, like you're in junkyards. One level you're battling on the sidewalk next to a highway, and dudes are throwing grenades at you. I don't know what's up with that, but
yeah, that one sucks. The cars are hitting you, and then the chicks jumping at you and disrobing, and not in a good way. Before they kick you.
No, this I will never trust a nun for the rest of my life.
Never.
Like they are not to be trusted.
The game absolutely is from a time and a place, and the designer Oba definitely built the game to be very, very punishing, very, very difficult.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. That was 1989 when it came out, and
Jesus Christ.
When you were young, Jones kind of talked about this last time. The trading games was the best way to play kind of as many titles as you could back in the day. We didn't have the selection that people had today, and they kind of take for granted today, right? But I remember trading my good friend Kenny. The only other game that I had that wasn't Altered Beast. I traded Kenny my copy of Genesis Ghostbusters for his copy of Revenge of Shinobi.
Such a good game.
Also, that was a good early Genesis game in my opinion.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I wasn't super excited about getting Shinobi because up until that point, the home console ports were pretty terrible. I mean, all the Sega ports of the Tengen games on the Nintendo, they were awful, and the Master System wasn't that much better. And yeah,
Gauntlet was alright, man.
Don't get me started though on the Heartbreak. That was the home version of Alien Syndrome, because that was like my other favorite Sega game. It's just so awful,
Yeah,
but
that was pretty shit.
I borrowed the game from my
the
friend.
other day.
I borrowed that game from my friend, and I just remember putting the card in for the first time, and unbeknownst to me, the television volume was turned up really loud because my dad had been watching the football game. So that initial thunder strike that you hear in the game, I tell you, that thunder strike was heard around the fucking world. And it just echoed through my house. And I mean, geez, the first thing you see is the digitized, Sunny Chiba on the start screen, and it looks so realistic, and yeah, as a 13-year-old, you could only be hypnotized from that point forward.
Yeah.
Like there's parts of the game that I see the brilliance in that I really like, and then there are some parts that I kind of question, as an older gamer kind of playing. Do you feel like any of the game was kind of just maybe slapped together a little bit? I mean, I know you gotta turn these games out quick and everything. Just because, I mean, just when you get into, the bosses, just how they're just complete and total, unimaginative rip-offs of other intellectual properties.
I mean,
talk about
when you
Godzilla,
say
son?
Okay, so we're talking about the elephant in the room now. So the bosses, let's talk about them. So
Because,
the first boss is the giant samurai, right?
Well, hang on. Let me stop you here. Let's just not pretend this game exists for a minute. And I'm going to pitch a ninja game to you.
I don't want to live in that world.
And, so I'm you're a ninja and you're trying to rescue your wife or your girlfriend. They took her. They killed your master. Okay.
Okay.
And, you go through the game, and then you reached the like the third level, and you gotta fight Rambo.
Okay.
Okay, so after you make it through Rambo, you go a little bit further, run down some docks, and then next thing you know, you're in a junkyard, and the Terminator's in the junkyard.
Okay.
I'm liking this.
Still with you.
I'm liking this.
Still with you.
Okay. So you take the Terminator down, and then you're in Chinatown.
As ninjas do.
You're in Chinatown. Things are going cool. Jackie Chan shows up. You got to take him out, and then next thing you know, Spider-Man's there. So
okay. I mean, Daz and I will
Sony didn't own him at this point.
Yeah, Daz and I will interrupt you as soon as we hear something we don't like. But
I'm like all in.
Well, yeah. So then, like, Spider-Man basically gets defeated, but it wasn't Spider-Man; it was Batman. He just transforms and starts flying
even better.
Around. Well, the only thing that gets a little crazier is like, next time you're like maybe in a big ship, next to a pier, and Godzilla's hanging out in the hangar.
Okay, I have questions here. Okay, we're gonna divert for a second. So I have to know, how did Godzilla get to Seattle? Okay, so was this like on a boat, like in Jurassic Park? But I mean, if you look at this Godzilla, he's kind of small. So is this a teenage
They
Godzilla we're
kidnapped
looking
baby
at?
Godzilla.
I mean, there's
this
a lot
kid.
there's a lot going on here.
It's just like it's just a crazy cast. It just seems like the most bizarre. I like it and enjoy it. It just seems so bizarre.
Yeah, I think they
Is
were
this
just
the first
having a
time
good time.
Stallone? Is this the first time Stallone and Schwarzenegger co-starred in the same title? I mean,
Yes.
It's very possible.
and the weird brain thing.
Yeah.
The brain in
third
the
level.
jar and the
brain
I
in the
mean,
capsule.
jar.
is this like Kane from RoboCop 2, except he's like built into this Sputnik satellite thing?
They had to let him out for air every couple seconds.
Dude. And
Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Bat. I mean, Jones. I mean, it's like the lawsuit list is like this. It's like Spider-Man, Batman, Jackie Chan, Rambo, the Terminator, Sonny Chiba, Godzilla. And, I really have to hand it to them for giving the finger to both Marvel and DC in one game. Like, I can only say I'm impressed. But the truth of the matter is just like the idea of doing a game like this now is like unthinkable, right?
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
no
like,
freaking way.
This would just never happen.
Nope. The amount of lawsuits that would be chasing this game around would be insane. But it exists, and we have this shining gem of giving the finger to everybody because they just wanted to have a good time and throw the most ridiculous bosses at you. That they could think
That is
of.
that is a that road to badass is a one fraught with legal peril, and they took their chances.
I do remember I loved the Godzilla. Again, I think I talked about this before, but in Strider, when you had bosses that filled the screen, and I remember seeing, because I'm pretty sure this was a launch title for the Genesis.
It was real close to it. I don't know if it was the actual launch, but it was very, 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 very close.
Pretty sure it was on the back of the box of the Genesis.
It could be.
And I remember one of the pictures was the Godzilla Fozilla that was on the thing, and I was like, oh my god, that looks amazing! It's so big, and seeing something that big move around on screen always kind of was cool to me. And it was it was a janky animation and everything, but it was still bitching. So.
Well, I was kind of impressed with that. I mean, it's a giant sprite, but
Yeah.
rather than just have the walking animation, they actually did one where he whips his tail at you.
Yeah.
So you're drawing him in different dimensions as he churns. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was a framey animation.
Yeah, it was framing, but it was still, again, it was cool as shit, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, the like this game, like I said, I had some parts I breezed through, had some parts wanted to die and kill myself.
Good news. There's ninja magic for that.
There's ninja magic, but I fought. I fought hard, and I got to level 8, and everything about level 8 I hate. Every single thing about it. The music is for that level, for whatever reason, it's a very tense and maddening music to go along with the frustration that you're feeling as you're lost in this stupid maze.
They call it Ninja Madness.
Oh, wait,
That's what you're experiencing.
I gotta interrupt everybody on this. Did you guys take note of the fact that this was Yuzo Koshiro again that did the soundtrack to this?
We have not mentioned that. But
Yeah.
who is that?
Do what?
I'm just joking. I said, who is that?
Yeah, it was just kind of neat because there's anyway, I'll let you go on, but there's a track later on that was kind of funky. It was awesome.
Oh, there's some funky stuff in it, like the Ninja Disco scene.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah, so
If memory serves, that guy is actually referred to as the Shadow Dancer.
Yes.
Which
so
guy?
is this the guy that you fight in the club?
In the disco.
Yeah,
Oh.
the disco.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
because he
referred
does
to as the
become
Shadow Dancer.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, level
So
8.
you got to level 8 though. Like, I mean,
It broke me.
take us home.
It broke me. It literally it broke my soul. I was gonna quit and give up, but I didn't. I cheated a little bit by watching a video to see how to get through it. So then I came back and I made it through it, and the final boss was like the easiest thing since level 1. That just blew my mind. Did
Taking
you guys?
it easy on you, man, after what they made you suffer through.
Yeah, well, the only thing that it did is I actually played the Steam version, where it had a feature that was kind of actually really cool that Dazpick told me about the other day. I didn't really use it, but I used it here. At the ending of it, when you're fighting the final boss, your girl's locked in a cage, and there's a giant piece of concrete somehow slowly coming closer to the ground. So if you don't beat
Very
the boss
much like
in
a
time,
Bond villain way to execute somebody.
yeah, I was gonna execute her with like 500,000 tons of concrete or something like that's coming. So you have to beat the boss in a certain amount of time, or she gets crushed. And I had beaten the boss in a certain amount of time, and she didn't get crushed. And I had a little happy ending where we kind of watched the sunset at the end, and it just says the end. But the Steam version of this lets you actually rewind time. So I rewound it back to the boss fight and did it again just to see what would happen, because I didn't remember. I wanted to see what happened if she got crushed. Does she really get crushed? And yeah, I didn't remember that. She actually gets crushed, and it's a whole separate ending.
This is so tragic.
Yeah,
Kill
what
this
was
girl.
Yeah, you killed this girl, but what was kind of cool about that is, I guess that's the bad ending, but the actual
Yeah, I would think so.
the actual ending is better, because the one they're on a mountaintop, and it's just like, a picture of them and they're watching the sunset, and it says the end. This one you get, you have your Joe is on the mountaintop, and it's totally at night now, and he looks up to the sky, and her face kind of appears in the stars, and then it says the end. But it was more eventful than the good ending.
So
It was actually, you got the better ending with the bad ending.
Yeah, well, he's a free man now. He can go get some of those young things
back
running around the dojo.
It's the Van Helsing ending.
Yeah, and so I was able to defeat Neo Zeed as well, and it kind of struck me as funny, Naoko just kind of unlocks her cell. You know what I mean? If it was that easy, why make Joe come all the way out to, Dr. Evil's Neo Zeed Island, all the way out in the mid-Atlantic? I hope Joe kind of did something nice for himself with all the frequent flyer miles.
Godzilla could have been spared if she had just opened the damn cage.
He's all the suffering could have been averted.
Batman and Spider-Man would have been fine if she just opened the cage.
Just open the door for herself. She's waiting for a gentleman to show up. And but it's
so what is the greatest villain in the Revenge of Shinobi?
ooh, like a cool villain, or like who's the actual most vile creature?
Who do you curse? I was talking about the Grenadiers earlier. Like, who do you curse? In the in your most painful moments while you're playing this.
Besides
Level 8's music.
Level 8's music, and I actually had a little hard time at the very beginning, like the waterfall level. Because the waterfall itself's like this, it kind of hurts to look at almost. Just the animation of the water and the color of it, like everything, like the ninjas kind of go invisible in it a little bit. It kind of plays with my eyes. So the flying
wings.
Guys, yeah. So there's flying guys.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah,
trying to master the
for
double
Jones
jump.
to hate.
Yeah, I didn't like them guys, the grenade throwing guys. Or a lot of times I would curse, like there'd be like a soldier that was just laying down shooting kind of off screen.
Yeah, those are the ones I didn't like.
Yeah, that guy can burn in hell.
Yeah, he's a son of a bitch. Just hanging out, waiting for you to jump. And as soon as you jump and you think you're clear, surprise, there's a bullet for you.
Yep,
Actually, here's
on
3. Bounce off of this. And then
Oh,
that
look at
sends
that.
you
You
out
just
the
fell
door.
off.
Yep.
Yeah, I died so many. I'd like to see a death counter in this game, and the amount of times I've just died and just
Yes.
cursed.
I think the greatest villain in the game were, I don't know, maybe the red cars in level 4. Those red cars are sons of bitches. They at least train you to look for that one color on the screen. Or maybe the MVP villain is just the open airplane door.
MPV, the MPV runner-up would be the box that you bust open that has a bomb inside of it.
Or when there's 2 boxes on top of each other, and then the one on top is a bomb, and the one underneath is the health that you need. So you see the health, and you run over, and then you realize you get blown up, and you lose the health. It's just picked up.
Oh, the worst thing is I would like jump sometimes. You throw a bunch of stars, and it would like bust a box towards the edge of the screen, and there'd be life in it, and I would screw up my double jump. Or just everything goes wrong, and I can't get over there to pick it up, and I just watch it disappear. That happens so many times.
See, that's just Oba laughing at you from behind like a bush. Like he's just laughing. He loves it. He loves your pain.
No, I did think something that was kind of I don't know. It was just kind of interesting. Was I played this on Steam just because it did a real nice job of emulating the game. Like it looks really, really good on a computer monitor to play it that way. But in the intro, you're basically in this room that has the Sega library, and you can choose games to play from it. But on the wall are 3 posters. One of the posters is Golden Axe, and the other one is Streets of Rage. And the third one is Revenge of Shinobi, which...
The Holy Trilogy.
The Holy Trilogy that we kind of picked, pretty much. But that was... I don't know, maybe we subliminally got whammied. I don't know, but that was pretty neat.
So. Yeah.
They're good games.
They're just freaking awesome games.
They're on the wall for a reason.
Damn right. Alright, boys, so... What's next on the agenda?
Okay. Next, I did a little thinking. We're gonna try something that we haven't done anything like this yet in the games that we played. So I think like the next series should be some form of racing. Now that could be like in a car, or on a motorcycle, or in a boat, or it could be on foot. It's any type of game where the goal is to be number 1. If you're not first, you're last. So
All right.
with that in mind, I got my brain sparked a little bit by mentioning this a few episodes back, but F-Zero GX on the GameCube. Is my game of choice for next week.
All right.
Awesome.
I've never played it.
You have never played this game.
Nope.
Oh.
No.
And
my
let me
racing my racing games peaked at what was the virtual racing? That was, I think. And, I mean, yeah, that and like Rage Racer and Ridge Racer and those. That was where I kind of stopped after that.
Oh, this I was thinking harder what to pick, and I kind of checked it out a little bit, and I am excited. This is a great game that I like, at least. So,
All right, man.
Yeah, I only got to play it for a very little bit on the GameCube, and I got to try it in the arcade. So, what little I did play, I will say you were in for a treat. I mean, it's cool science fiction racing with that Nintendo polish on top. So, this is definitely going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Did you play the Super NES game at all?
Yes. Not a ton. I mean, I liked it all right. I just didn't. I didn't have it. My brother had it. He played it all the time.
It's that times 4. I mean, it's just one big adrenaline rush. They leaned into the ultra speed and kind of mind-bending, multi-directional levels.
yeah, I think you're in for a treat.
Cool.
All right, well, awesome. So I guess stay tuned to next week and see if Dazpick is happy or he thinks I'm the dumbest man in the world. So, this is Jones for CRT Gaming Podcast with Gohan and Dazpick, and we will catch you next week. Signing out.
Until next time!
Game over again!